Luke Ayling is a player who, in my opinion, Middlesbrough really need to be keeping at the Riverside Stadium this summer. Obviously, the right back moved to the club during the January transfer window. He arrived on a 6-month loan deal from Leeds United. Although the slight caveat to that is the fact that his contract at Ellen Road is coming to an end this summer, which effectively means that he could be Middlesbrough's player for absolutely nothing. Should we choose to make the move permanent? Now, obviously, the loan deal is I guess it's kind of a bit of like a trial period for him, seeing how he fits into Middlesbrough's plans, seeing whether Michael Carrick sees him as the kind of player that can help the club moving forward. Right back has always been a tricky spot, particularly under Michael Carrick's tenure. No one's really been able to sort of nail down that spot convincingly. And that means that going into the summer, it is going to be a key area of consideration. It's going to be a position that Middlesbrough are looking to strengthen. We do need to add some quality in that sort of department, and so it'll be interesting to see what Michael Carrick chooses to do. Now, for Ayling, it's been a bit of a difficult one since he's moved to Middlesbrough. Obviously, a lot of people know of Luke Ayling from his time at Leeds United. It was during his time under Marcelo Bielsa where he really made his name. Obviously, he became a Premier League level right back due to his high intensity, his ability to get up and down the flank, and his ultimately his leadership as well. He's a really popular figure around Leeds even now. I remember when he did sign for Middlesbrough, I was getting a lot of messages from Leeds fans saying "Take care of Bill," which is obviously his nickname, and just yeah, just a lot of good feeling for him, and a lot of Leeds fans who want him to do well with Middlesbrough. And I think since he's come to Middlesbrough, I think there's no doubting that he's a really popular figure. You're sort of seeing it during his conduct on the pitch, but also off the pitch as well. He's a really likable character, but he's not aloof. He's someone who comes in and he's a leader. He's someone who's going to be a massive character in the dressing room. And I think that's something that Middlesbrough really need to kind of take on board as they move into next season. I think it can't be underestimated that during the January transfer window, we lost Matt Crooks, who was a massive character in the dressing room, one of those kind of leadership figures who was in there as well. And you do sort of look at Middlesbrough squad at the moment, and you do sort of wonder where that kind of leadership's coming from. A lot is always said about people like Johnny Howson. He is obviously a leader. He's Middlesbrough's captain, but he is quiet. And by nature, he tends to lead more by example. Is what people sort of seem to say. And obviously, the conversation about Howson is for another day as to whether he is deserving of a another 12-month contract. In my opinion, he is. But I digress. I think for Middlesbrough, it's going to be absolutely crucial that we do add more leadership into that team, because I think that is an area where we've kind of struggled this season. Now that has been partially down to the injuries suffered to Darragh Lenihan and Tommy Smith, who are two of the biggest leaders in the squad. Obviously, they've been out for the bulk of the campaign, and we have really missed them both on and off the pitch. And I think with Ayling, he is the sort of player who's come in. Not just to fill an on-field position at right back, but someone who's come into work to really offer that leadership in the dressing room as well. Now, his start to life at Middlesbrough, it wasn't great. Didn't really look like the sort of player that obviously he'd been at Leeds United. He's 32 years old now. He is a little bit older. He did mention this, I guess, in his post-match interview against QPR about how he's maybe finding it a little bit trickier to perform exactly how he did at Leeds by getting up and getting back and having no issues with it. We've seen it a few times where he has been caught out when he has gone marauding up down the right hand flank. And then obviously the other team's countered and obviously caught him proper. And it is something that he's going to have to consider moving forward. It's something that he's certainly got a hell of a lot to offer at Championship level, and for a club like Middlesbrough. In my opinion, it may well be that he has to tailor his game slightly. I think it comes for every marauding right back or every wide player who uses their pace and work rate to great effect for a team. The day sort of comes where they have to realize what their limitations are, I guess, at that point. I'm not saying that he needs to be the sort of defender who sits back, doesn't get forward anymore, and is just very much a defensive-minded right back. But I think just being a little bit more mindful of it, not taking himself into positions where he will be caught out. And that would ultimately make him a much safer, I guess, pair of hands at right back. I think that's something that he's done a little bit more in the last few games. I was mentioning just then about how his start to life at the club wasn't great. He did get caught out a few times. I mean, he has come into a very up and down Middlesbrough team, so it's been very tricky for him to sort of sort of adapt. And it's not like he's come into a team that's winning every week where it's quite an easy transition. It has been quite difficult for him to come in, but what we've seen over the last few weeks is just exactly what he can have to offer. I mentioned about his leadership and his defensive qualities, but we've also seen what he's like moving forward as well. 3 assists in 3 games. Coming into this week is exactly what he's got to offer. That ability to go forward, to drive forward, and the ability to pick out the pass and pick out a teammate has been absolutely crucial, and that has been a massive part of Middlesbrough's ability to win 3 games in a row. Now, I think as far as Ayling's long-term future is concerned, it seems very much that his future at Ellen Road is well, it's done. He's not going to be going back to Ellen Road. It seems highly unlikely that he's going to go back there and get his opportunity. Leeds, obviously, they have aspirations of getting up to the Premier League. As far as they're concerned, they will be hoping to be able to do that. But even if they don't, this season they've been playing with Archie Gray and Connor Roberts. Right back to two quality operators, Archie Gray in particular, looks like a player who's going to be a proper star moving forward. And so it just really seems like his days Leeds are done as far as Ayling's concerned. And so for him, it's about finding the next home where he can spend the next couple of years of his career. Um, He's obviously settled in the North Yorkshire area, and that's obviously made the Middlesbrough move even more attractive for him. And so for him, he will want this move to work out. He will be hoping that he can earn a contract with the club, and that's going to be something that will certainly be looking to do in the final matches of the season. As far as I'm concerned, we have started to see the best of Luke Ayling. He is a player who has plenty to offer on and off the pitch. I think one of the main dilemmas that Michael Carrick faces is about those just that right back option. I've talked about this a little bit on Twitter or X or whatever the hell it's called these days, about how I would like to keep Luke Ayling at Middlesbrough, and a few people have rightly pointed out that obviously Tommy Smith is still there. Obviously Tommy Smith has been out injured for almost a large chunk of this season. He's going to be back hopefully in time for the start of next season, and so that for Middlesbrough poses a bit of a dilemma because are they going to go down the option of having two experienced right backs on their books? Is that something that they're going to be looking to do? But do they want two players of that sort of profile, or are they going to want a more experienced defender and then bring in maybe a younger, more exciting, more energetic, more pacey sort of right back option who is I guess the long term solution to that problem moving forward? I'd love to say the answer to that, but I don't. Um, as far as I'm concerned, I think right back is a position where Middlesbrough probably look to save a little bit of money. I mean, there's going to be a number of positions that we need to strengthen over the summer. Um, you do look at the amount that we've spent on transfers over the last couple of years, and we haven't spent a huge amount. And it's obviously this new business model where we're keen not to overspend on players. And right back isn't a position where you want to be going out and splashing the cash on a player. If we've got a number of options who can come in and do a really good, solid job, people like Luke Ayling and Tommy Smith, I think that for me would be the best possible solution there. Whether he chooses to keep both of them, I'm not entirely sure. Obviously, you've also got the Anthony Dykes situation as well. He is going into the final 12 months of his contract. Clearly, isn't fancied by Michael Carrick this season, and a lot of people would like to see him given more of an opportunity. He's shown in in flurries exactly what he's about. He can be a good player at championship level. For me, I think he's all right. I think he's a decent option for Middlesbrough in the Championship, but he's certainly not someone that I'd be looking to bring into that right back spot permanently moving forward. And I think crucially for Middlesbrough, he's someone who we could get a little bit of money for in the summer. It's not going to be a massive amount, but I think for Middlesbrough, it might make sense for them to cash in on him, get a million, 2 million, something like that for him, give him the chance to reignite his career elsewhere, and then Middlesbrough can look to build that right back position around that. So I think as Ayling's concerned, it's definitely a case of looking to earn that contract in these final weeks. I think he's really starting to win over a number of Middlesbrough fans. I saw a lot of him when he was at Leeds United, and I know exactly what he's got to offer. So I've been a big fan of the Luke Ayling signing from the very start. Some people have been a little bit taking a little bit longer to for him to convince them, which is absolutely fair enough because he wasn't great in those first few weeks. But maybe what we're starting to see is a player who's getting up to full fitness, getting up to full sharpness, and really starting to show what he's capable of. And I think for Middlesbrough, I don't think they can afford to let a player, but a leader like him, slip through their hands as well. Because if Middlesbrough don't snap him up this summer, he will go to another club in the Championship, and he will be a top signing for someone this summer. As he does look to get a full season under his belt next season. So my message to Michael Carrick would be snap him up, get him signed up for a new contract, save the money for other areas in the team. Would be my advice around Luke Ayling, and hopefully he can prove exactly why he was such a popular figure at Leeds United by doing such a job, being such a leader, and being a key part of the club and the community over the next couple of years.